Pregame.com.
Friday night NBA action. We've got the LA Lakers going to the San Antonio Spurs. This is going to be the third meeting in 11 days between these two teams. He's Steven Nover. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Steven, these guys haven't, they didn't play all year, then all of a sudden 3 games in 11 days. Crazy.
Pretty quirky scheduling.
Absolutely. But I got to tell you, let's set the table for the line. This is, first of all, we're taping on Wednesday. These teams are playing on Friday. When you're handicapping and setting lines in advance, especially with these two teams right now, it's nearly impossible to put a correct number up because you've got no clue who's going to be in the lineup. You've got Popovich, who I think has done his best coaching job of his career this year.
That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot because he's a Hall of Fame coach.
But he's a guy that flies under the radar. I don't think he gets the credit that he really deserves because he's not that flamboyant, charismatic, type,
small
coach.
market.
And he's just done it. And I'll get to that in a minute. But you've got San Antonio, who time and time again this year has just sat down the big three. Just rested them, getting ready for the playoffs. You never know when.
It won't happen here, though.
You wouldn't think. Then you've got the Lakers with Kobe's situation where he's been out with the shin injury. People say that he's healthy enough to play, but it's a coaching decision right now, trying to get him fresh for the playoffs, this and that. So if everybody's on deck, I'm going to make the line San Antonio 6. And that's with a full San Antonio roster and Kobe in for the Lakers. If Kobe's not in for the Lakers, then you could be looking at a line of 9.5 in this game. And when they played last Friday, the line was 10. And the Lakers won outright in San Antonio. Then they come back. We're taping on Wednesday. They played last night. Lakers kicked the crap out of, San Antonio kicked the crap out of the Lakers on the Lakers' home floor. So
is that half point worth it? I'm like talking to myself. I said I got to take 3.5 with the Lakers at home. And we talk about our winners, and that was we got to talk about our losers too. That was a bad loser for me. Bad handicapping. I shouldn't have got swayed. I figured the Lakers had been tough as a home underdog, but now they go on the road where, as you said, they buried San Antonio last time. I think they're going to get more than 6, Marco, and if they do, I got to be tempted to go on the Lakers.
Well, one thing about last night's game, and you got to break down the games and look at the things. San Antonio's not going to shoot 60% from the floor.
Oh, they caught them in their A game. San Antonio played well.
I think it might have been triple A.
Yeah, and they were motivated. That was.
It was. They were putting everything up. And getting to Popovich for a second, and when I said this may be his best coaching job ever, because of this schedule this year, going into it knowing it was a condensed season, but you weren't going to have to play as many games, but you were going to have to play the games in a smaller period of time. There were going to be a lot of 3 games and 4 night situations. And like San Antonio just finishing, they're playing tonight on Wednesday. They're playing 3 games in 3 days. Then they travel home. They got a day off, but then they travel home to play Friday night. These are bad situations for any team. And every year we've always heard it with San Antonio. Oh, this team's old. This is the year that you're gonna see some decline. Tim Duncan's long in the tooth. Blah blah blah. What Popovich has done this year is twofold. By setting the big 3, it has kept them fresh for the playoffs. Absolutely. But what's not being talked about, and is even more important, all of the playing time that he's been giving the bench players because of the way he's doing this. San Antonio suddenly has become a deep, deep basketball team. They have got their bench is playing very well. You've got valuable experience now when these guys do come into games. And when we get into the playoffs, granted, the first round is spread out forever, the way for TV. But then when you get into the second and third round, they're going to be playing every other day. And how playoff basketball is more taxing on you because it's more physical. You might not play defense all year, then all of a sudden in the playoffs the teams are playing more hard-nosed. San Antonio is set for the playoffs. This team's going to be tough to beat. They might be, at the beginning of the season, I was all over Oklahoma City, to win the West. Right now, I think the team that you're going to have to beat is San Antonio.
I think there's only 4 teams right now that can win the NBA championship. The Bulls, the Heat, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio. Now, I didn't include the Lakers, although I have a lean maybe towards the Lakers in this game because they're kind of a wild card. Say best case scenario for the Lakers, Kobe comes back, and he comes back strong, maybe not taking 23 shots a game, which is too many even for him to take. But I think he improves. Once he's out there, then what's Ron Artest calling himself these days?
Meta world peace.
Then he kind of calms down and doesn't fire off bad three-pointers. And as an aside, meta world peace, is that what he's calling himself? Whoever allows these name changes should have prohibited that one. This guy's a thug. He's one of the most dangerous people on earth, and how can he call him? All right, back to the handicap of this game. I love the Lakers' front line, and if you can get Bynum's head on straight, he's a big talent. Gasol's a proven commodity, maybe a little bit of a head case too, but that front line can play against anybody, and the Lakers have to be embarrassed about what San Antonio did to them in L.A. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of a wild card. I don't like Mike Brown, their coach. I mean, boy, if they had Phil Jackson, they wouldn't have to take a back seat in the coaching department to Greg Popovich. But but right now, I don't regard the Lakers as anywhere near that upper elite status. But again, Marco, they're a hard team to figure. I mean, they have the history of getting hot in the playoffs. And
the Lakers do, but you know what? And we're getting away slightly from this one, but I just don't think the Lakers are a serious threat in the playoffs. And
right now, no. But
everything that you said, you talk about all of the, head cases. This one's a head case, that one's a head case. And let's face it, Kobe's a head case too. I mean, when if everything's not moving through Kobe, he gets disgruntled. That's Mike Brown, I think, really is getting a bad rap as a coach because it's hard to come in twofold to come into the situation that he did. One, he came into L.A. and you've got a superstar to deal with, and let's face it, Kobe is. For all the talent that he has, you cannot argue the fact he's a frickin' prima donna.
And and Mike Brown was hired when they didn't even consult Kobe. So Kobe probably resents that.
You got that factor. Then add in the fact, not only is he coming into L.A. to deal with a player like Kobe Bryant, he's coming in and replacing an absolute coaching legend in Phil Jackson. And the one thing that Phil Jackson was able to do, regardless of the fact of how good of a coach Phil Jackson was, the Zen master was able to cast his magic over these mental cases and make them play together.
Yes.
Mike Brown does not have that capability. That is the drawback for Mike Brown. And I think when they get into the playoffs, you get into that hard-nosed basketball, and if things aren't going Kobe's way and this thing starts to unravel, to be honest with you, the Lakers until last night's game, the Lakers had been playing good basketball without Kobe in the lineup. They were playing as a, quote, team instead of Kobe and 4 guys on the floor.
But playing as a team without Kobe can only get them so far. Incorporate Kobe, get Kobe buying into the system without losing his identity, and then they're a threat.
If you can get that worked out, okay. And you know what?
If you
could figure out how to do that, I think you might be able to get the coaching job in L.A. because nobody's been able to do that. So good luck with that. But I agree with you. If Kobe comes off the pedestal and plays team basketball, be the team leader, but play team basketball. This team's not good, like you said. When he shoots 23 shots a game and he goes off for 40, it looks good on the box score, but it does not that does not translate to winning basketball, especially in the playoffs. Now, back to this one. Friday night, San Antonio, a rough schedule this week, playing the 3 games in 3 nights on the road and then coming back home. You would think if Popovich does his normal thing, somewhere along the line you're going to see the big 3 not play. But being that this is the Lakers and now San Antonio, they said all along it really didn't matter to them what seed they were, but now that the number one seed is there, it's theirs for the taking, you got to think that they want that and have the home court throughout the West.
Well, Popovich is quite the poker player, and I don't know if he can afford, battling Oklahoma City like this to actually sit out the big three again. I know he's gotten away with it during the season. Maybe hope to build up big leads against bad teams and reduce their minutes. But still, part of why I have a lean towards the Lakers is, it's even with the day off, the day before this game, it's still a 4-game and 5-day situation for San Antonio.
So I would definitely, one thing I would give the viewers a tip is we're taping on Wednesday. We don't know what they're doing on Wednesday night. They play tonight. Look and see who plays.
Check the minutes, yeah.
Check the minutes, check who's, in the lineup, and, that'll give you a good idea how ready and how serious they'll be for Friday night. I've got nothing on this one. I'm going to go, you've got the Lakers as a lean here, and you like them either way with Kobe or without, or do you have to have Kobe on the floor?
Well, I'd prefer to have Kobe, but even without Kobe, they showed they could win handedly at San Antonio, and I think they're going to get a bundle of points here. So I think it's going to be high scoring. San Antonio doesn't play defense the way they have in the past. And
their score. I mean, they're scoring too. I mean, they've scored four straight games. They've scored over 100 points for San Antonio, and that's something like you never saw on the old Spurs teams. But again, they're fresh and they're doing it with the bench is contributing. When they do go to the bench, it's not just to chew minutes. The bench is good now. I will say this much with you. I'm on the fence with this game right now. If Kobe doesn't play, I agree with you, and I like the Lakers in this one because I'll take the inflated line with them, and I think they'll play better without him, just that team-wise. If Kobe comes back, I think there could be that disruption in the offense because they've played so many games now without him where they're going to, it's just going to disrupt the flow because they're going to look to get Kobe his shots, and Kobe's going to look to get his shots himself. Yeah. And I think it's going to throw the flow of the game off for the Lakers offensively. In the way San Antonio's playing right now, I don't think you can have possessions where you have turnovers or you end up taking a bad shot or, you work yourself a little deeper into the shot clock trying to get Kobe the shot and then end up with not a good shot. I'm on the fence if Kobe plays. If Kobe doesn't play, I'll agree with you and give a lean on the Lakers.
A little bit of an intangible if Kobe doesn't play. When these superstars are held out of games or don't play, most of them, they're not really that into it. They're preening in front of the camera or something. Kobe's into it. He's helping coach. He's firing up his team. He's the one guy in the NBA that I most compare to Michael Jordan in terms of will to win and willing his teammates to do their best to win. So there's a little bit of intangible that way if he doesn't play. But I think the Lakers will give a full effort here. And, the talent's there. It's just a question of putting it together. And if you're taking a big number, that would be my lean then, would be towards the Lakers, the dog.
Well, heck, if they run Mike Brown out of town, why don't they just make Kobe player coach? He'd love that. All right, there you have it. Stephen Nover says to take the LA Lakers plus the points on Friday night against the Spurs. I'm giving an assist on it. I lean to the Lakers as well, but I only want the Lakers if Kobe's not in the lineup. That's going to wrap it up for us with our videos. Be sure to check out all of the videos all week long. Scott Spreitzer and Vegas Runner is going to be into the studios tomorrow. They're going to cover the weekend action for you. You can get it all on pregame.tv. He's Stephen Nover. I'm Marco D'Angelo. We'll see you next week.